Hello, hello. Happy New Year. This is Cari, the self-kindness coach, and welcome to Kindness for Lunch, the first one of 2026. How are you doing? Remember, YouTube Live is all about talking in the chat. So let me know how you're doing. I'm so glad to be here with you. The topic today is going to be how come we're so darn hard on ourselves, and how can we possibly do anything differently? Maybe 2026 can be a year where we are not as hard on ourselves. Wouldn't that be nice? So tell me in the chat, how are you doing? How are you doing today? What's for lunch? Good. I'm glad. Glad you're here, SBBS. I had a really nice wrap for lunch with spinach and a little bit of back bacon and some egg. It was really good. Something you shouldn't be eating. What does that mean? How you're doing means you're eating something you shouldn't be eating? Like what? Let's find out. And we had 7 people here for a second, which was super cool. And then we had one. So I think one of the areas, French fries. Yeah, so interesting. Hey, you naturally have a feeling that French fries are a food you should not eat. And really, the decision to eat fries or to eat anything that you think is something you're not supposed to eat, you can change that whenever you want. So when we have an association with a certain food, it can actually draw us to that food more often because we feel restricted from it, which naturally your internal psyche is like, I don't like restriction. I don't want to be restricted. And so you start thinking about that food more often. And even when you do eat it, I'm not sure for you, but you eat that food and you don't actually even enjoy it. You're kind of like shoveling it in, worried that someone will find out, or because you're feeling guilty. But then you're not even enjoying the food. And here's a wild fact, which I've seen studies for, so it's not just a theory, it's a fact, that how you are relating to food emotionally impacts how your body digests that food. So let's say with your French fries, if you were eating fries from a place of, wow, these fries are so good, and I am just going to mindfully enjoy every bite. And you're not stressed, and you're just enjoying. You're listening to your body as it responds to the food. You're chewing well, like you're just really actively present to that food. Your body will process the nutrients and calories within that food more efficiently than if you do what so many of us do naturally, which is if we're eating a food that we have strong feelings about, guilt, judgment for ourselves. It feels like a cheat food or something that you should eat in secret. We eat it in a state of stress. We're eating it fast. We're not listening to our body. We're not chewing very well. We're applying all of the emotional stress of guilt and all of those things. And then your body is in a state of like, in the fight or flight sort of stress response. Your body actually doesn't process those nutrients and calories as efficiently. It will tend to, for example, store the fat calories or so on, where it might have turned them into energy more efficiently if you weren't so stressed. So I hope for you that you are eating your fries with enjoyment and no guilt. because it does your body no good at all. If you're going to eat it with joy, eat it with an appreciation for how good they are. And then listen to your body as you're eating and go, oh, wow, you know what? Normally I would have like eaten the whole thing of fries and been hungry for more. But as I eat it mindfully and without stress, without guilt, wow, actually I ate all of them, but I feel really satisfied now because I ate it mindfully and without stress and guilt. So I hope that's the case for you. But the topic for today, I mean, this relates directly, which is why we are so hard on ourselves. And I just want to know from the people that are here, what's a level between 1 and 10 of how hard you are on yourself, like in your own thoughts. 1 being like, I'm hardly hard on myself at all. I'm really supportive of myself. I hardly ever feel negativity in my mind. And then 10 being, I don't know that I'm ever anything but hard on myself. So it's just perpetual inner negativity, inner criticism, and judgment. So 1 is very little, and 1 is like nonstop being hard on yourself. Where are you at? Give me your rating in the chat. One is not hard on myself at all, and 10 is, yeah, okay. A 9 to a 9.5. So that's pretty high, for sure. For sure. I used to be there. I was at a pretty consistent 8 out of 10 for many, many years. And it's incredibly difficult. You know, you're walking around in an inner battle, a constant inner battle where you're getting berated from your own thoughts, and you're just trying to manage to keep going despite the inner battle that's constantly happening. So it's extremely hard. But you know, the first step to changing that is recognizing it and starting to have compassion for yourself of like, oh, no wonder I'm struggling. No wonder I keep running to coping tools that aren't helpful, like overeating or over consuming social media or anything that's a coping tool that isn't helpful. It makes so much sense that we turn to those when we realize, when we measure the negativity that we are battling against between here and here all day long. And as soon as you wake up in the morning, it's there, right? So have some compassion for yourself in this moment and go, yeah, that makes sense. I can see why I'm struggling. That's a huge thing. And to answer your question about is processed food addictive? So this is a scientific question, which I won't say that I'm an expert on. I only have my my sort of layperson research on it, and my understanding is that there are components of some processed foods that encourage the body to respond by always wanting more. Right, I think potato chips are usually the example that's given because they're chemically created to be pleasing on the tongue and have the body almost feel like it hasn't eaten anything. So then you never get that full cue of like, oh, I've had enough now, I'm full. The potato chips never give you that. But you get the endorphin rush of having something really tasty on the tongue. So then in that way, the food itself can contribute to mindless consumption. And of course, The endorphins can be, that's one of the things that makes uh, any um, item like drugs, alcohol, processed foods, they're giving you a hit of something that in the moment feels good. And so naturally that then makes them more easily addictive. So, but at the same time, when you are in tune with your hunger, in tune with um, eating in the moment, you're being fully present to the process of eating. You could eat any processed food and be like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you take like potato chips, for example, and you mindfully eat every single one. So you don't just like one and then one and then one, right? Like you eat one and you're like, okay, wow. Yeah, that's a whole lot of flavor there and some nice crunch and stuff. But then it kind of leaves a weird taste in my mouth. But now I kind of want one more. So you have another one. But when you're mindful about it, the attraction of the food wears off a lot faster. So the processed foods actually really, really encourage us to mindlessly, unconsciously consume them. And I mean, we turn to unconscious eating because often we're feeling bad about ourselves and our relationship to food and our body. And so we don't want to pay attention because it doesn't feel good. Anything we do to pay attention to our body and our relationship to our body is so riddled with judgment that it doesn't feel good. So we switch into sort of unconscious mode, and then we're eating unconsciously. So when you have a really high level of being hard on yourself, it's like, well, great. Now I know that I'm super, super hard on myself. What do I do about it? What do I do? And there's so much you can do. It's so much about noticing your thoughts, paying attention to the thought process that's running your life. And as soon as you get to know it, you can start to bring change to your thought processes. So I was curious, for those of you that are here, what is a thought that your mind feeds you about food? So when you think about like your next meal or something, and your mind is going to tell you something about you and that meal, what is it telling you? Think about it for a sec. I'll type it into the chat while you're thinking. I'd love to know. What is it saying? Think about it. Sometimes it can take a little bit to listen. If you think, okay, I'm thinking about my supper, and right away my mind is saying, oh, make sure you don't eat too much, or you can't have what you want to have, or something like that. What is your mind saying to you about your next meal? Da, 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 da. I'm waiting. This is the hardest part about YouTube Live, is I'm so used to being in virtual workshops and rooms where I can see the people that I'm engaging with. And in YouTube Live, I only get to see a number and then whatever shows up in the chat. So what is your mind saying to you about you as it relates to your next meal? I know one of my clients the other day, as soon as she thought about her next meal, she realized she felt this kind of heaviness in her chest, and she was like, "Oh, okay, what What is that heaviness? It just means that I'm kind of I'm dreading having to think about what I'm going to have for dinner. And as we worked through it, it was like, okay, what are you dreading? And she's like, this feeling in my chest, it's coming from this feeling that I'm going to fail. I'm going to somehow fail at supper, because usually if I overeat, I usually do it in the evening. And so I'm nervous that I'm going to fail again and overeat, even though I've been really good lately. But still that feeling, that fear comes up. And so she discovered that as soon as she thought about her next meal, what her mind was trying to tell her about her was, you're going to fail. You're going to fail at making good choices for your dinner. And that feels terrible. It feels horrible, right? Like, imagine a person standing in front of you, and every time you are about to do something that's good for you, and you have ideas and you have intentions and you have motivation to do something for your own well-being. And then a person is standing in front of you with this super sour look on their face, and they're like, you're going to fail anyway. Why bother? Right? Imagine, I don't know, have you got that? Have you got a person in your head who is telling you that you're going to fail when you try to do more for your health, for your weight loss, for your whatever? Do you have a voice inside? Tell me. I want to know in the chat. Do you have a voice in your head that's saying mean things to you? Because I know almost all of my clients do. And I know I definitely did for a long time. But what about you? Do you have that voice in your head? And what is it saying? What is it saying? Let's pull it out and expose it like the wizard behind the curtain, right? Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So your voice is saying kind of a you have to deserve good things kind of thing. So if you go for a walk, you can have dessert. Okay. So there's like a conditional support. I support you in, doing something you enjoy if you do something first. I mean, that's not a super destructive thought, which is good. That's really good, right? Does it land well? Does it feel okay when you think that way? Or does it feel demotivating, right? That is so much the test. And I'm realizing I shouldn't have poured a bubbly water to drink during a YouTube live, because it keeps showing up in my breath. So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, what else for the rest of you? What is the level of cruelty or meanness in your thoughts about yourself? Is it there at all? Is it 50% of your thoughts are kind of judgmental and critical? What's it saying? I want to know. We can troubleshoot it right here on this kindness for lunch, because if you can take one critical thought in your head that's trying to undermine your efforts for your own well-being, and you pull it out and you replace it with something that is kinder and more true, more factual, I can change your whole day. Absolutely change your whole day. So my client, for example, that realized that she was having fear about failing about her supper, when she realized that, she pulled it out and said, okay, well, that's not true. I mean, my brain isn't a a fortune teller that can know that I'm going to fail at having a healthy supper. So what is something that's a little more true? And what she found was that when she had a plan for what her supper was going to be and had it written down in the kitchen, so like, I don't know, I think she had like sticky notes or something, so that when it came to supper time, she wasn't just making it up in the moment. She had a plan of like, oh yeah, I'm going to take some of that chicken out of the freezer and then I'm going to put it on the grill and have a salad with that really yummy dressing, blah, 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 right? So she would make a plan, and that affirmed for her that she is a person who follows through. So she chose to listen to that part of her mind that was more factual, that was kinder, and she acted on that thought rather than believing the negative thought that said she was going to fail. Because guess what? Whenever she believes that thought, what happens? She feels terrible. She needs to soothe herself, and then she turns to food, and then she overeats in the evening, and it's that terrible self-fulfilling prophecy. So you can always turn it around. And what is SBB saying here? I will still have the dessert even if I don't go for a walk. Okay, so this is actually where your mind is already deciding, kind of like my client did. Your mind is already telling you you're going to fail, and you're believing it. And you're saying, yep, this is what I do. I fail, I have the dessert, I don't go for the walk, and then I feel even worse about myself. So in this moment, my friend, you can choose a kinder thought. So your brain is not a fortune teller. It doesn't know. It knows what you did before, but it doesn't know what you're going to do next. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell the future. It's completely open. So in this moment, find something that's a little more true. Oh, by the way, this is Loki. This crazy guy. Yeah, there he is. Find something that's a little more true about you than that this is just the pattern that's always going to repeat. Like, for example, what does it feel like when you go for a walk? Even a little walk. What does it feel like? What do you experience when you go for a walk? Do you like your shoes? Your walking shoes? Are they sitting at the door ready for you to go for a walk? If you give yourself permission to just put the shoes on and walk for however short of a time you want, and that's okay. Take the pressure off. It doesn't have to be a half an hour walk or an hour walk. You don't have to, walk so fast that you work up a sweat. Just give yourself permission to have any kind of walk you want. Take the pressure off. This isn't about being perfect. It's about making small steps forward, right? And then, once you've had the walk, acknowledge yourself for the effort that you put in. Give yourself full credit, because that voice in your head is going to try to rob you even of the pride in your efforts, of the things you actually did, right? That voice in your head is going to be like, oh, well, I mean, you basically didn't walk at all. You only went like 2 blocks. That doesn't count for anything. That's not going to burn enough calories to take off that extra 100 pounds or something, right? It's going to try to rob you from it, but don't let it. Really think about it. I did it. I showed up. I got out there. I moved my body. I listened to the birds a little bit, or I said hi to that nice person and their dog, and it felt good. I did that, right? Give yourself that credit. And then Once you feel it's like a release of pressure. When you feel the release of pressure of actually giving yourself credit for what you did do, then ask yourself, how can I honor myself even more? Because now I'm a person that I followed through. I did something. And now I want to keep adding care and love and kindness to myself because that's who I am. You're like, you know what? A little having that piece of dessert after supper or something, I think would be really nice. And I'm going to eat it with full enjoyment of every bite. No guilt. No shoveling it in secret. No standing in the pantry. Sit down, make an event of it, and be like, this is really nice. I really like this. And it tastes good, it feels good, and now I'm done. I'm satisfied. Right? You have the ability to choose different thoughts that you act on. Every minute of the day is a new opportunity to do that. And if you only do it once a day, if you change one thought a day from judgmental and mean and not true and not supportive, and you flip it to a thought that is factual and true and supportive and kind and motivating, and then you act on that thought, you do that once a day, you have something now that you can build on and build and build and build. And so, what do you think? What do you think about that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is that something you feel like you can try? Or what other questions come up? What else? You see, oh, I go the wrong way. Look at him there. He's so cute. He's going to jump onto his little bed. Jump. Loki, jump. No, not going to jump. It looks like he's perched on my shoulder. Well, there you go. Yes. If it brings you down, right, you're getting closer to a relationship with your thoughts that is just a little more livable. And an incremental change is what this is all about. People think, oh, well, I'm only doing this right if I feel like immediately better all day long. No. You have decades. I don't know how old you are, but you probably have decades of practice listening to the negative thoughts in your head and believing them. So changing that habit, one thought at a time, progressively over time, is the key. And part of why our 3-month Kindness Foundations program is 3 months long is because it takes time. You have to show up for this work every day, just a little bit, and have a community and have support. Oh, he's going to try again. And have support to help you change those patterns of thought, change the voices in your head that you listen to and that you act on, and then how that makes you feel. It takes time, but you've already shown that you can do it. You found something that you can practice, and that's what it takes. And trust me, I've been doing this for a long, long time. It works, and you can do it. Everybody can do it. So thank you so much for joining me today for the first Kindness for Lunch of 2026. It was so nice being here with you, and I hope you have a day that includes more kindness in your thoughts, more enjoyment in what you choose to do, what you choose to nourish yourself with, even just one kind thought today. That's what I wish for you. And I'm here for all your questions. Thank you so much, and I will see you next Monday.